The other area that we have is Turnitin source credibility. And unfortunately, this vendor was not able to join us either today, so as a speaker. So I'm going to show you a little bit what they shared with me, what they were going to present on. I do apologize for that. So they have a video that they wanted us to share with you about the source credibility with Turnitin.
In today's world, there's a great deal of information that's easily accessed online or through books. Determining the credibility of these sources can prove to be challenging. Questions may arise like, can I trust this source? Is the author qualified? What's the purpose of the source? And how can I tell if it's credible or not? Therefore, it's important to learn skills and a process for evaluating the credibility of sources. Using credible sources in writing will provide the support to produce high quality and convincing arguments. On the other hand, using non-credible sources could harm claims and negatively impact your writing. In an effort to help develop this skill set, the educators at Turnitin produced several resources, such as a guide, lessons, and activities for evaluating source credibility. The Source Credibility Guide lays out 6 clear steps for evaluating the credibility of any source. It's meant to offer a process for navigating the murky waters of source credibility. Let's take a peek at the guide. Each step presents a category to be evaluated. Although it's suggested to follow the process in order, it's not necessary, as we all know every assignment has different requirements. The process begins with evaluating the origin of the source, then moves to the author, then purpose, perspective, academic, and finally, relevance. Each lesson presents a series of questions writers should ask themselves while evaluating a source. In turn, a process of asking the right questions and making informed choices around the quality of sources is established. A great way to practice this skill is by choosing a source and analyzing it at each step. Go ahead and give it a try. Select a source and take a look at the guide. Ask yourself the proposed questions for each category to decide how that source ranks in credibility. The video lessons can help explain the categories in detail, but the guide can always be used as a reference at any time. Learn more about the process by starting with Lesson 1 to discover what it means to evaluate the origin of a source.
So Turnitin shared the source credibility chart that you just shared, and we'll share that out with you all. And they also shared this website with us today, and let me showcase this a bit. It has some really good resources for us as educators. So on the website, they have 2 different planning resources: Evaluating Source Credibility Teacher Guide, and then the Source Credibility Suggested Lesson Sequence Guide. And then when I open each of these up, the teacher guide, it's a PDF, and when you scroll through it, it will have really helpful links in it. So as evaluating resources, it has those different resources that were mentioned in the video. Student resources and class presentations. So as you heard in that video, they were talking about credibility, lesson 1. You have the class presentation made for you that you can review as a teacher and deliver to your students. But they have the other lessons too on the origin, the author, purpose, perspective, academic, and relevance, as we heard in that video, to go over those lessons with the students. They also have digital worksheets on those same topics for the students, and graphic and visual aids for the students. So we'll be sure to share the website out and the guide, which are really handy. The other link right here, so that what you just saw was the teacher guide on this planning resource website. The other guide is the Source Credibility Suggested Lesson Sequence Guide, and that looks like this. So you're going to see the sequence, you can see the task, description, and a resource link. So it's going to kind of organize some of those resources in a sequence for you as educators, from lesson 1 all the way down that you see to lesson 6 and additional resources. So these are really handy as we look at Turnitin, source credibility, teaching that important digital citizen skill to our students. We also have, just like we have Edpuzzle, we have on the MCS EdTech YouTube channel. Again, you can get to it at this link. We have a playlist on all things Turnitin. So this playlist will go over how to use Turnitin within Schoology, how a teacher sets it up, what students do on their side, submit, and then how teachers can use it to review and give feedback and grade it. The really good thing, just like Edpuzzle, Turnitin has grade passback. You grade it within Turnitin within Schoology, it goes to that Schoology gradebook. And the amazing thing about that is then the Schoology gradebook can sync to Power Teacher Pro that we have. So our playlists on Edpuzzle and Turnitin